Hello and welcome to Integrated Backyard Homesteading. This course will focus on designing interconnected food production systems, energy independence, and community resilience on your journey to self-reliance. I'm Lydia Silva.
And I'm Brian Moses.
And we'll be your facilitators for the course.
We recently moved to Westport, Massachusetts, where we are establishing our newest 2-acre homestead at the site of an old gospel church. Together, we've had the good fortune to establish homesteads in the Azores of Portugal, Japan, and here in the U.S. Our experiences with diverse climatic zones and cultural conditions have inspired our unique perspective on homesteading. Our mission is to provide you with the tools to create abundance where you live.
Permaculture is a design system that focuses on meeting human needs while restoring ecosystem health. Throughout the course, we will be utilizing permaculture principles and design in order to fully assess and analyze our homestead sites. Permaculture offers an integrated framework to begin to connect the elements of a homestead together in a meaningful way.
Integrated homesteading seeks to unify the elements of a site and nearby ecosystems to create a cohesive, small-scale food production system. We will also examine the possibilities for alternative energy and discuss social and financial structures that build resilience. The goals of the course are as follows. There is a strong focus on creating beneficial connections between the elements of the homestead. Integrated homesteading addresses the needs of the caretakers and provides yields that meet those needs. Managing waste streams and surplus resources will also be addressed as we design regenerative landscapes.
The next 3 slides will illustrate some examples of connecting related elements to create low-maintenance systems of production. In this slide, the chicken coop and greenhouse are connected to serve multiple functions. The chickens generate body heat, which will raise the ambient temperature of the structure and keep the greenhouse warmer in winter. There is a rain barrel attached to the chicken coop roof in order to provide drinking water for the chickens. On either side of the structure is a section dedicated to chicken forage, grains, and vegetables that chickens enjoy eating. The orchard is fenced off, but after a windfall of fruit, the chickens can be allowed access to the orchard to clean up the fallen fruit and add their nitrogen-rich manure to the orchard soil.
This hedge is an example of a plant polyculture, or a mix of species. Each layer of this planting serves multiple purposes. On the top layer, there's a hedge used as a living fence to contain cattle or small livestock. This hedge is also a fodder crop that the animals can graze on. In the middle layer, we have grapevines growing on the hedge with some support from posts. Grapes provide fruit and edible leaves. The grape flowers are also a nectary plant for insects.
In the lowest layer, we have a mixed planting of potatoes and fava beans. Fava beans add nitrogen to the soil and are used as a cover crop. Cover crops are crops that are specifically grown to improve the soil and are usually cut to the ground before flowering. This produces nitrogen-rich organic matter above ground as a mulch, and nutrients below ground as the roots die off. Potatoes in the lowest layer act as a living mulch that suppresses weeds. The edible hedge is a way of connecting the needs of livestock, food production, and the strategic use of vertical space for layering crops.
This duck house was built over a tilapia pond, where the duck manure provides extra nutrients to the aquatic system. The high nutrient content of the water allows phytoplankton and algae to grow and become a food source for the tilapia. The tilapia are then harvested as a renewable food source. The pond also provides a rich habitat for biodiversity, creates a microclimate with reflected light and heat, which benefits nearby plants. By connecting the waste products of the ducks with the needs of the phytoplankton, algae, and tilapia, this system is able to produce high yields of protein with very few inputs.
The mini cornfield in this south-facing yard gets plenty of sunlight and provides a screen from the driveway next door. Corn grown in small patches such as this one may require hand pollination. Corn is wind pollinated, and in a small area the pollen can be carried away by the wind before pollinating the plant. Since this area is plowed in winter, it would not be possible to grow permanent woody shrubs as a hedge. The mini cornfield connects the elements of food production, privacy, and aesthetic appeal.
The next few slides offer examples of meeting your needs and producing diverse yields on the homestead.
Herb Hill Micro Dairy is a suburban dairy that specializes in raw goat's milk. Recently, a partnership was forged with the Town of Andover, Massachusetts Conservation Commission to encourage the goats to graze on untended pasture owned by the town. This pasture had become overgrown and neglected, so the goats were brought in to clean the area. The goats were accompanied down the street to their pasture by neighbors, friends, and volunteers.
Wick gardens are an ingenious way to grow plants without soil. They consist of shallow beds lined with carpet. Compost tea is poured into the buckets and seeps slowly through the carpet to plant roots. The compost tea is made by mixing compost with water and using an air pump to aerate the mixture. This encourages populations of beneficial microorganisms. Wick gardens can be mulched with a variety of found materials, including corn cobs, pine cones, and aluminum cans.
Keyhole beds allow easy access to all parts of the planting area and feature a compost pile in the center. The intensive planting allows for more plants per unit area than row planting. The keyhole bed offers a low-maintenance composting system and keeps plants out of the reach of small pests.
The Native Americans planted 3 sisters gardens of corn, beans, and squash. The corn served as a support for the vining beans to grow upwards. The beans fix nitrogen in the soil, which increases the fertility for the corn, and the squash shades the soil and inhibits weed growth as its large leaves spread outwards. In this polyculture, of the 3 plants grown together, the plants yield more than if they were each planted out separately in the field. This is called over-yielding.
Nitrogen-fixing trees line these raised beds to provide organic matter and mulch, and some much-needed shade in a very hot climate of southern Florida. Nitrogen-fixing plants have symbiotic bacteria growing on their root systems that convert nitrogen from the atmosphere into a form that plants can use for growth. We can observe that some crops require high fertility and make the connection that certain plants provide fast-growing, nitrogen-rich material that can be used to build soil. We can also observe that the hot afternoon sun is too much for our plants and use a nitrogen-fixing tree that is pruned for mulch and shaped to provide shade.
Here's an example of me using what's known as the tippy tap. The tippy tap was developed in rural areas where there's no running water, but can be a useful tool on the homestead if you do not have an outdoor sink. The tippy tap is made from a repurposed laundry detergent bottle, some string, and a piece of wood. As you step on the wooden pedal, the bottle tips some water onto your hands. A bar of soap is tied onto the handle with some string, and the instant sink is complete. The tippy tap uses just over an ounce of water to wash your hands, compared with conventional taps which pour out about 3 gallons per minute.
One of the first things I try to determine at a site is what types of local resources are available in a quantity that I can use to build soil fertility. Seaweed is gathered in Portugal to add minerals and organic matter to the soil. Every spring, seaweed washes up on the beaches and is collected in trucks and placed in the fields where watermelon is planted. Seaweed is known to contain high amounts of trace minerals.
This biogas digester combines manure with water in a closed plastic barrel. Microorganisms break down the manure into methane gas, which can be used as a cooking fuel. The tire tube inflates when filled with gas to let you know you have a full tank.
The next few slides will illustrate the major concepts for the course. Please refer to the digital syllabus for more detailed information.
In the first month, you will begin the permaculture design process and apply what you have learned to create base maps of your homestead sites. You will apply design principles to help guide your process and gain a new understanding of the patterns of your site.
In month 2, you will begin your site analysis with evaluating water at your homestead. You will study your local watershed, then move on to assess landform and water management techniques at your site.
In month 3, you will analyze your food needs and yields and create a plan for food self-sufficiency. This month, you will also address the quality of your soil and soil rehabilitation. We will create a livestock needs and yields analysis to help you find a livestock animal that is the best match for your site.
In month 4, you will analyze the microclimate of your site and compare season extension techniques. We will cover plant propagation and preserving the harvest.
In month 5, we will focus on forest gardens, appropriate technology, and financial permaculture. You will continue your site analysis by assessing circulation and access, also known as pathways, roads, and trails.
The topics for month 6 include designing perennial plant polycultures and building resilient communities. You will then connect the dots of the entire curriculum, completing your final design project.
The homesteads presented vary widely, and they each have their own unique sense of place. One definition of place, proposed by Professor of Geography Yi-Fu Tuan, is that a place comes into existence when humans give meaning to a part of the larger space. A place that is identified and given a name, a context, and a meaning is said to have a strong sense of place. Fritz Steele defines sense of place as the experience of a person in a particular setting, and it has also been defined as a set of characteristics that give a location a special feel or personality. What does a sense of place mean to you at the site that you're working with? How would you define it for yourself?
Many insights can be gained by identifying closely with a specific location through observation, interaction, and intuition, as well as understanding the seasonal cycles and social patterns.
To succeed in this course, we encourage you to be an active participant, fully analyzing and observing your site. Please have fun as you complete the assigned activities. Before you know it, your design will come together before your eyes. We can't wait to help, so let's get started.